Have your say in the far-reaching legislative overhaul in the fight against gender-based violence and femicide. The Portfolio Committee on Justice and Correctional Services invites stakeholders and interested persons to have your say by submitting written submissions on the 3 key amendment bills related to gender-based violence. The 3 amendment bills are designed to fill the gaps that allow some perpetrators of these crimes to evade justice and to give full effect to the rights of our country's women and children. The bill to amend the Criminal Law Sexual Offences and Related Matters Amendment Act creates a new offence of sexual intimidation, extends the ambit of the offence of incest, and extends the reporting duty of persons who suspect a sexual offence has been committed against a child. It expands the scope of the National Register for Sex Offenders to include the particulars of all sex offenders. It increases the time particulars of offenders must remain on the register, and also makes provision for the names of persons on the National Register for Sex Offenders to be made public. The Domestic Violence Amendment Bill amends the definition of domestic violence to cover those in engagement, dating, in customary relationships, and actual or perceived romantic, intimate, or sexual relationships of any duration. The bill also extends the definition of domestic violence to include the protection of older persons against any abuse by family members. It further provides for the manner in which acts of domestic violence and related matters must be dealt with by certain functionaries, persons, SAPS, and government departments. In perhaps the most groundbreaking proposed amendment to the Domestic Violence Act is if someone has knowledge, reasonable belief, or suspicion that an act of violence has been committed against a child, a person with disability, or an older person, and fails to report it to a social worker or a police officer, they can be fined and even imprisoned. The Criminal and Related Matters Amendment Bill tightens, among others, the granting of bail to perpetrators of gender-based violence and femicide, and expands the offences for which minimum sentences must be imposed. The amendments impose new obligations on law enforcement officials and on our courts. Prosecutors not opposing bail in GBV cases must place their reasons on record. Courts must order the detention of the accused until the criminal proceedings are concluded, unless the accused can provide exceptional circumstances to be released on bail. Courts have to record reasons if bail is granted, which must include pre-trial reports, threats of violence against a survivor, and the view of the survivor regarding his or her safety. When it comes to parole, a complainant or a relative of a deceased victim must be able to make representations to the parole board. Inquiries and written submissions must be directed to Mr. V. Ramano and emailed to gbvbills@parliament.gov.za. Copies of the bill may be obtained from Mr. V. Ramano, who is contactable on 021-403-3820 or 083-709-8427. or visit our website at www.parliament.gov.za. In addition to the written submissions, please indicate your interest in making a verbal presentation at the public hearings. Parliament, following up on our commitments to the people, eradicating gender-based violence and femicide.